Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I bring you news from the war on our third front, the southern border with Mexico. Last Saturday, 2 American teenagers were brutally shot and killed in Mexico in the Mexican border town of Juarez, Mexico. That's right across the Rio Grande River from El Paso, Texas. On Thursday, drug cartels gunned down 8 people in a bar in Juarez. On Sunday, Homero Salcedo, the head of security and intelligence for the state of Nuevo Leon in Mexico, was shot in the head and his car was set ablaze. Nuevo Leon is close to the U.S. border and once was considered one of the safest towns in all of Mexico. This murder is evidence that the narco-terrorists are continuing to expand their control with our neighbors to the south in Mexico. There are portions of Mexico that are under the control of the drug bandits, and honest law enforcement is non-existent. However, Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, has said that the situation on the border has, quote, been mischaracterized by lawmakers for political reasons. Well, the same can be said of Homeland Security Director Napolitano. She mischaracterizes the border region, claiming it is safe. This is either for political reasons or because she refuses to admit the federal government is unwilling or incapable of securing the border. More than 34,000 people have been murdered in our neighboring country of Mexico since the drug cartels began their reign of terror in 2006. In my opinion, neither the United States nor Mexico has operational control of some border regions. Drugs and money are smuggled north into the U.S. and drugs and people are smuggled into the U.S. and guns and money are smuggled to the south into Mexico. And this is just not a Mexican problem. For example, 27% of the inmates in United States prisons are not U.S. citizens. 17.5% are from the nation of Mexico. And a whopping 37% of Texas border jails contain foreign nationals. If the border is so secure, Ms. Napolitano, how come so many thousands of illegals are pouring into our country, committing serious crimes and filling up our prisons? How can any reasonable person say our borders are secure when 27% of America's prisons are the home to foreign nationals? They wouldn't be in prison if they didn't cross the border in the first place. There is more. Jose Reyes Alfaro, an illegal immigrant from El Salvador, went on a killing rampage in Manassas on Wednesday. He shot and killed 3 people and injured another. Alfaro had been ordered to be deported in 2002, but he just never left the country. These murders could have been prevented if our border security plan, Ms. Napolitano, was working. An 8-year-old girl in Fairfax, Virginia, was raped by an illegal in her own home. Her rapist was Salvador Portillo Severa, a known criminal who was living in the United States illegally. In 2003, Portillo Severa, an MS-13 gang member, was arrested and deported to El Salvador. But since we have open borders, the child rapist was able to sneak back into the United States unnoticed and under the radar. He was even arrested in November of 2010, but rather than be held in jail for deportation, he was released back on the streets because no one was able to check his illegal status. And 1 month later, Salvador Portillo Severa raped an innocent 8-year-old girl in her own home. This disgusting crime could have been prevented if we secured our borders, deported illegals that were in this country, and kept them from returning. Tell the parents of this 8-year-old girl, Madam Secretary, that our border crisis is just mischaracterized. Our system is flawed, and Homeland Security better understand the government to protect the people of this nation and quit making excuses. It's way past time to put more National Guard troops on the border. I've introduced legislation to put 10,000 National Guard troops on the southern border to be paid for by the federal government but supervised by the 4 state governors. We protect the borders of other nations. It's about time we protect our own. Meanwhile, it appears Homeland Security is living in Never Never Land or blissfully unaware of the real world on the southern border or mischaracterizes the situation for political reasons. And that's just the way it is. I yield back.